Hello and welcome back to Oba's Trending Gist, where we break down the hottest political topics making waves in Nigeria. Today, we're diving into a political firestorm that has pitted colleagues against each other and reignited a very sensitive national conversation. Now, it all started when a comment from the veteran journalist Dr. Reuben Abati on Arise News concerning Peter Obi's vow to serve a single term if elected president. Dr. Abati dismissed the vow as a sign of desperation and, more controversially, claimed that the North would not embrace an Igbo president because, in his words, the civil war has never ended. Now, this didn't sit well with many, and two prominent voices have fired back. His own colleague Rufai Oseni and activist Aisha Yesufu. In this video, we will watch exactly what Dr. Abati said, break down the powerful responses from Rufai and Aisha, and then I'll give you my own critical take on this entire drama. You don't want to miss this. First, let us watch the exact clip that sparked the entire conversation. Pay close attention to the arguments being made. So sit back and take a watch.
I'm saying that any politician that comes to you and says, I'm going to do only one term, that's a sign of desperation. It will not work. Just like all these gambits about serving food, carrying plates, and doing boy at parties that could be better organized by event organizers. It's also a sign of desperation. It doesn't work. It will never work. And then the second challenge, of course, is that you say the North will buy into this idea of one term. No, the North will not. Because the civil war in this country has never ended. I don't believe that Northerners who are already aggrieved with a Yoruba president will just shift and embrace the possibility of an Igbo president. There are contradictions in this country that have not been sorted out. We should lay the emphasis on competence, ability. If the Nigerian people are politically educated to a point where they can vote for a competent person, regardless of where it comes from, regardless of his religion, that's when this country will begin to move forward. So all this, I will do one time, I will serve you food, I will give you agbado. No, please. That's not going to work, in my own opinion. I don't know whether you disagree.
Wow. Okay. A lot to unpack there. Let's get into the analysis. Dr. Abati essentially makes two major points. First, that any politician promising one term is desperate, comparing it to serving food at parties. But the second point is where the real controversy lies. He claimed that the North, who he says are aggrieved with Yoruba president, would not shift to embrace an Igbo president. His justification, the civil war in this country has never ended. He then says the emphasis should be on competence, which for many viewers sounded like a direct contradiction to the ethics and regional analysis he had just given. Is this part that really got people talking? Now let us bring in Rufai Oseni. Although he wasn't on the show that day, he took to his X handle to respond, and it was a direct hit. He tweeted, and I quote, "Some now think they know how the North will vote. When it's convenient, they are so quick to say the civil war isn't over. Yet, they are the ones that preach unity. They preach competence, but when they see competence, they preach racism and tribal sentiment." Rufai then flipped the script, arguing that the best way to truly end animosity of the civil war is to give a chance to a leader from the region where the war happened. He calls it what it is, fairness. And he's not alone. Aisha Yesufu also dropped a video, and her take was characteristically blunt. She questioned if Abati was speaking for the entire North or just for himself. She hates the generalization, arguing that people should own their personal biases instead of hiding behind an entire region. Aisha also dismantled the idea that the Southeast should be punished for the perceived failure of the current Yoruba president. And most interestingly, she countered Abati's point by stating that from her own experience, the conversation about P2B is happening in the North, especially the Northwest, and that his message of competence is actually getting through.
Hello, everyone. So when I watched that clip, even though it's a short clip, and so some people might say, okay, there might be context, other things that were said there. When I watched that clip, for me, the first thing that comes out of my mind is that, is Reuben Abati really speaking about the North when he said Nigeria, and is he really speaking about Nigerians, or is he speaking about himself? One of the things for me that I always don't want people to do is to hide under generalization. He's talking about the northern Nigeria will not want an Igbo presidency, see what a Yoruba presidency has done. When is the rest of the South supposed to pay for whatever Tinubu has done? Why would the rest of the South, the Igbo presidency, the South people pay for whatever it is that Tinubu has done? Why would even another Yoruba person pay for whatever it is that Tinubu has done? Tinubu has failed. Tinubu is a disastrous failure, and that's what it is, and that should be maintained at that. And then when also Reuben Abati comes out to say that, oh, Nigerians have an Igbo problem. I don't have an Igbo problem. And I know there are a lot of Nigerians who don't have an Igbo problem. If there are Nigerians who have an Igbo problem, those are they having an Igbo problem, not it is. What I want to hear, what I would want to see, is to look at someone like Mr. Reuben Abati. I'm even combining their names. Mr. Reuben Abati, and ask him, do you have an Igbo problem? Forget about Nigerians. And I do. And this one thing I was saying, forget about Nigerians, forget about the North, forget about, it's about you. What is it? Stop generalizing. Even when I see people, I don't think Nigerians, so I say, no, it's not about Nigeria, it's you. What is it that you want to do? That's all that matters in this case. But let me tell you, by the way, this whole issue of the North, first of all, is not homogeneous. I've always said that. Sometimes when we're talking about the North, we're actually referring to the Northwest. And I can tell you right now, the conversations in the Northwest are ongoing. People are talking about Peter Obi. His messages are getting down there.
So, here is my take on all of this. With all due respect, Dr. Reuben Abati's analysis feels like old guard political thinking. It's the kind of narrative the political establishment has peddled for decades to keep Nigerians divided along ethnic and religious lines, making it easier for them to maintain control. The idea that an entire region of over 100 million people think with one single mind is not just simplistic, it's insulting. As Aisha Yesufu rightly asked, who gave him the mandate to speak or to be the spokesperson for the North? The contradiction that Rufai pointed out is the elephant in the room. You cannot champion competence in one breath, and then in the very next dismiss a candidate based on ethnic calculation. It makes the entire argument for competence feel hollow and exposes it as a cover for maintaining a certain political status quo. And that line about civil war not being over is particularly dangerous. While the scars of the war are undoubtedly real, using that trauma as a political weapon to block progress is a form of national emotional blackmail. The best way to heal a wound is to treat it. Rufai's point that inclusivity is the actual cure is far more progressive and forward-thinking. Ultimately, what Rufai and Aisha did was to challenge and dismantle the outdated top-down analysis of Nigerian politics. They are pushing back against the gatekeepers of political commentary and saying, stop telling us what we think. We can think for ourselves, and we are tired of the old divisions. They are arguing for a new Nigeria, where your own origin doesn't limit your destination. So in the end, what started as a critique of Peter Obi's one term now has exploded into a much larger, more important debate about the soul of Nigerians' politics. Is our future about being changed to ethnic entitlement and old grievances, or is it about competence, fairness, and forging a new unified path forward? But that's just my analysis. What do you guys think? Do you agree with Dr. Abati's assessment of the political landscape, or do the responses from Rufai Oseni and Aisha Yesufu resonate more with you? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I always love to read them and get the conversation going. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Oba's Trending Gist for more incisive analysis, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.